WBN.
After this week's presidential debate, you might be wondering how it could affect voters' attitudes ahead of the November election. In tonight's Capital Connection, CBS 58's Emilee Fannon and WisPolitics editor J.R. Ross look at the latest Marquette Law School poll and see how likely a shift in public opinion really is.
This week we begin with a head-to-head matchup looking at new polling in the battleground state from Marquette University Law School poll that has the former and current president, no real surprise here, tied at 50% apiece, which just speaks magnitude of how close the race is going to be here. And we all know that 4 of the past 6 presidential elections here in Wisconsin have been decided by less than 1 percentage point. But I think what was more interesting in the poll is when you look at the voter enthusiasm about those who were surveyed in this against Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Basically, the enthusiasm is on Donald Trump's side, which does show some warning signs to the Biden campaign.
Yeah, a couple of things. One, the former president's 34 convictions in New York did not move things significantly. 2, will the debate Thursday night have an impact on these numbers? Nothing's changed in the Marquette poll in Wisconsin for months now. So what will move people? Will that debate performance change things? Possibly. You mentioned the enthusiasm gap. Yes, Donald Trump's sort of more enthusiastic. But if you look at those striations of how enthusiastic you are, the poll director Charles Franklin talked about the people who are Democrats in these lower tiers actually have a better record of turning out. Basically what it means is Donald Trump supporters turn out for Donald Trump. The Democrats turn out more frequently in other elections. 2022, for example, they're more consistent voters. Will they find a reason to be more motivated after Thursday night? Maybe, maybe not. Or will they fall into their habit of, I vote every election anyway, I'm going to show up in November and vote.
And given the debate was so early too in June, I'm curious, how many people actually watched it. But if you didn't watch it, you're going to see a lot of viral moments on social media, which of, the slip-ups from Joe Biden or former president having a lot of lies, a lot of fact checks that weren't really there in real time, but you can read about them later on. That's what I'm going to be watching for too. If you didn't even watch it, is this going to move you at all? Because in that poll too, they're out there, 12% of undecided voters in this latest MU poll. Quickly, let's just mention the U.S. Senate race too, very close race as well there. Eric Hovde, the Republican who's challenging Tammy Baldwin, he's at 47%. Baldwin is up 52%.
If you dive down a little bit, you see that Eric Hovde is not very well known just yet. Now, come October, the people who don't have an opinion will be down in the teens or single digits, but right now, he's not that well known. His negatives are going up. He has an opportunity to find himself in a challenge that Baldwin can define him if he can't do it quickly enough on his terms.
All right, and moving on to our next topic is about the second recall attempt against Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Well, after the Wisconsin Elections Commission voted 4-2, they rejected this latest petition. So now this is the second attempt that has failed. But what happened is that it comes after WEC staff originally determined that they did gather enough signatures. So there was a little bit of, okay, we can maybe go forth with a recall. But it was later determined that a couple hundred of those signatures were collected past the May 26th deadline, therefore voting it down.
So you have 60 days in recall to collect the signatures. That fell on the Sunday Memorial Day weekend. The commission is not open on Sunday or on Memorial Day. So they had until Tuesday to file a petition. There are competing laws, one about the 60-day window and one about what you can do up until you file your petition. The Elections Commission had a similar situation with nomination papers in the fall ballot. The deadline fell on Saturday. They told candidates you can collect up until Monday and you turn things in. So some of the Democratic appointees said, hey, it's the same situation, we do the same thing. Republicans argued, no, different standard here, this is the cutoff. In the end, it nixed 188 signatures, which dropped them just below the threshold. Okay, look, even if they'd had enough signatures, even if they determined there's the right district to go after Robin Vos in, he would have gone to court, would have held this thing up going forward. The question now is, what do the Vos opponents do? There isn't a viable option in the primary because the opponent in the August primary dropped out. It's a very Republican seat. Probably going to beat him in that. So do you wait until 2026? Because I think it's been in office for 1 year before he can be recalled. So will they keep going after Robin Vos in the future, assuming he wins re-election this fall?
And looking ahead to next week, you might not know if you live in Milwaukee, there is going to be a special election for the Senate 4th District. And the circumstances of this election are a little unique. But who the matchup is between is Representative Dora Drake and Representative Lakeisha Meyer dueling it out.
It'll be a rematch no matter what. So bear with me here, but on Tuesdays, the primary for the rest of this term that ends in early January. The winner will be unopposed on July 30th for the rest of this term. They are both on the ballot in August for a full 4-year term starting in early January. Now, looking at the finance reports that were filed this past week, Dora Drake had outraised Lakeisha Meyer 6-1. Notable, she had more money from the business community, from school choice advocates, from traditional Democrats. It looks like she's got more support. Now, the question is, who's going to turn out on Tuesday? Anybody spending money ahead of time? And are the groups that normally get involved in campaigns going to hold their fire until August? You could argue that the Tuesday election doesn't have a big impact on things because it's for a term where they're already adjourned for the session. But if you win big on Tuesday, this is a message of you being kind of the favorite for August. I mean, there's all kinds of dynamics to watch here, but what I really want to know is who's going to turn out, who's going to spend money, and who has momentum come the August primary when it really is for keeps.
All right, that will do it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us.